Hello everyone, the question for today is the Temp DB is filling up drastically. What might be the activity that is filling up? So usually you might say that the Temp DB is filling up when you have low disk space or when you have low maximum size for database growth. And also many people might think that the temp tables are filling up the Temp DB, but you can actually fill up the Temp DB without even creating a single temp table. So let's look at what are the scenarios that can fill up the Temp DB. So any sort of sorting activities that require more memory than what is allocated to the SQL Server will be forced to do its work in Temp DB. Or any dbcc check DB command will have to perform its work in Temp DB. So larger the databases, it's going to consume more space in your Temp DB. So any dbcc commands with the sort in Temp DB option set will also have to run the commands in the Temp DB. Example, the alter index, which has a rebuild with sort in Temp DB equals on option. And any large set which includes unions, order bys, group by, Cartesian joins, outer joins, cursors, temp tables, temp variables, and hashing also require help from the Temp DB. And here is an example of a hash which is using algorithm, and it's getting our hash value. So this also does its calculation or manipulations inside of the Temp DB. And any transaction that's left uncommitted or not rolled back will leave the objects orphaned in the Temp DB. And the ODBC DSN with the option create temporary store procedure can also leave the objects in Temp DB till the end of the connection. And here is an example of the local temporary store procedure that you can create, a global temporary store procedure, and you can also create a store procedure in Temp DB, but that's going to be dropped once you restart your SQL Server. And now at this point you might be thinking that you might also create temporary functions and temporary views. No, SQL Server does not support temporary functions and temporary views. And any table value function that pulls large data set hold the data in Temp DB. So here is just an example of a table valued function, and that might also be a reason why your Temp DB is full. And if you have a database that is set to a snapshot isolation level, it might also be a reason why the Temp DB is filling up. So let's see what happens when you have a database with a snapshot isolation level. And here, let's see an example. So in this transaction, I have a table that is in my DB database. And if you see, or if I run the select star from dbo.table1 where id equals 1, it's going to give me this output, id 1, name cars, and number of items equals 10. And here, what I'm trying to do is to update this the number of rows, number of items equals 5, where from the table 1 where id equals 1. And if you see, I do not have a commit or rollback statement. So while this update statement is running, I'm going to go to another transaction, and I'm going to run this particular select statement, select star from dbo.table1 where id equals 1. So you see that I got an output of id 1, name cars, and number of items 10. So what is happening here while this update statement is running is that it's taking a backup or a snapshot of that particular row and putting it into the temp table, and that is what you're getting here when you run the second transaction. So basically what's happening in the snapshot model, snapshot isolation mode, is it's not locking or blocking anything, but it is creating versions of your rows in the Temp DB. So that is that. So if you have a number of inserts, updates, or deletes that's happening, there would be many transactions, many rows that might be filling up your Temp DB. So these are all the activities that might be filling up your Temp DB. Thank you and have a great day.